I call that noodling.
Noodling.
And if you wish, you may go ahead and close your eyes and just feel the energy. Just feel the moment. As we know that there is only one power, one presence, one essence, one energy that I call spirit. There is only one, God. God is. God is in me, as me, and is me. And that whatever God is, I know I am, and I declare this for each one of us here this morning. And I absolutely know that as we move into this service this morning, we do so with an open heart and an open mind. As we bless and just know and give thanks to the volunteers who made this service possible this morning. And the music we're going to hear from the musician Joe this morning, allowing it just to move in, around, and through you as spirit. Knowing that this morning's message by Reverend Kate, it's all good. It is absolutely all God, and it is unfolding right here, right now, through each one of us. And as I release my word, I do so just knowing that Spirit is moving right here, right now. And together we say, and so it is.
It's good to be with you live again. When the road is filled with trouble, up the hills our pace will double. If we walk that road together, no great weight can be a burden. We can bear it, that's for certain. If we share the load together. There's no challenge that we can't meet, whatever comes our way. So let them send an army and we'll defeat it. No retreat, love can't beat it, yeah. So cross that ocean and climb that mountain, drink our share of life's full fountain. We'll do it all together. Climb that mountain, drink our share of life's full fountain. Ooh, let's do it all together. Or we'll take a fall together. We gotta share the joys and the tears, banish all our fears together. Very much.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me all right? Okay. Want to make sure I hold this thing close. Okay, let's give a warm welcome to Joe Rathburn. He is our musician here this morning. And my name is Reverend Ron Card, and I am your presider this morning. And what we're going to do right now is go right into the announcements. And the announcements are, we here in this teaching believe in mental healing. And over the past 16 months that we weren't here, we were actually at home, but what we did is our practitioners and ministers operated as a prayer team. And we want to make sure that everyone knows that affirmative prayer is still available at no charge. All you have to do is you can either email, you can call, you can text the center with your name, your specific request. And if you want someone to contact you, please make sure you put down your contact information. You can put a written request in your donation envelope that's in your programs. And you can put it in a prayer box that's, I believe, in the back on the table here. And for the time being, we're going to be holding our guided meditation on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. And of course, we're still live streaming. As you can see right here, we are on Facebook Live. And our Carlsbad Spiritual Living Facebook page is public now. So you don't really have to be a member to access it. Just click on Not Now and just go right onto the page. And what I'd like to do, I'd like to thank everyone who made this service possible this morning. We have Jan, who's actually doing double duty. She's actually greeting, and she's also going to do the inspirational reading this morning. And we have Odey, who actually brought in these beautiful flowers here. And then we have Angel, who actually, he's great. He meets us here at 9:45 in the morning to help us set everything up, bring the chairs out, get everything comfortable for you, get the podium out. But he's also going to play double duty because he's also going to be our candle lighter this morning. And then we have Larry. Larry is actually doing the iPhone for Facebook Live. He's making sure that people can see us on there. So now what I'd like you to do is please join me. This center is based on the knowledge that there is one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. I'd like Angel to come up, our candle lighter this morning. And I'd like you to join me in honoring the unifying nature of spiritual thought and experiences as we light the flames of faith, acknowledging all people and faith, symbolized by these 6 candles here. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path and harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. And we light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And we light the candle for Buddhism, honoring the path of compassion. And we light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as a path of love. And we light the candle for Islam, honoring it as a path of peace and reconciliation. You know, in lighting these candles, we are seeking to remind ourselves that our universal creative spirit, which we call God, you know, this amazing thing itself, is all encompassing. And finally, what I'd like to do is, if you wish, you could close your eyes, because I invite you to take a breath and just relax. Take a moment. Take a moment to recognize that light within that is always shining as we honor our own metaphysical path of wholeness, of oneness, and of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We recognize the underlying truth that each of us, each human being, is a creation of God, made of God's substance, a unique, individualized incarnation of spirit. There is a divine wholeness, a total interconnectedness at the source. We are all one with life, one with the light of spirit. And you can go ahead and open your eyes. Our statement of truth for this center is that there is a power for good in the universe and that you can use it. And our mission statement for this center is to teach, to demonstrate, and inspire a positive spiritual approach to living. And now I'd like to have Jan come up, and she's going to do our inspirational reading this morning.
The reading this morning is from Creative Mind and Success by Dr. Ernest Holmes. We will always attract to us in our lives and conditions according to our thought. Things are but outer manifestations of inner mental concepts. Thought is not only power, it is also the form of all things. The conditions that we attract will correspond exactly to our mental pictures. It is quite necessary then that the successful businessman should keep his mind on thoughts of happiness, which produce cheerfulness instead of depression. He should radiate joy and should be filled with faith, hope, and expectancy. These cheerful, hopeful attitudes of mind are indispensable to the one who really wants to do things in life. Put every negative thought out of your mind once and for all. Declare your freedom. Know that no matter what others may say, think, or do, you are a success now, and nothing can hinder you from accomplishing your good. All the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. This mental attitude alone will draw people and things to you. Begin to blot out, one by one, all false beliefs, all ideas that man is limited or poor or miserable. Use that wonderful power of choice that God has given to you. Refuse to think of failure or to doubt your own power. See only what you wish to experience and look at nothing else. No matter how many times the old thought returns, Destroy it by knowing that it has no power over you. Look it squarely in the face and tell it to go. It does not belong to you, and you must know and stick to it that you are now free. Rise up in all the faith of one who knows what he is dealing with, and declare that you are one with infinite mind. Know that you cannot get away from this one mind, that wherever you may go, there, right beside you, waiting to be used, is all the power there is in the whole universe. When you realize this, you will know that in union with this, the only power, you are more than all else. You are more than anything that can ever happen to you.
You've not committed any crime, yet there you sit like you're doing time, shackled by the old routine ennui is sitting in. You want to break away clean, but you just keep pacing round your cell. It won't be long now till you're mad as well. It's your life, not a thing to waste. After all this prison food, how would freedom taste? Free your mind, the rest will follow. Break those chains, come out of the hole. Escape these walls within which you wallow. Break down your Bastille gates, release your soul. Break down your Bastille gates, release your soul. Look through the window of your mind's eye. Want to see the world? Well, then you gotta try to hacksaw through your prison bars. Not locked inside yourself, you can reach the stars. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Break those chains, come out of the hole. Escape these walls within which you wallow. Break down your Bastille gates, release your soul. Break down your Bastille gates, release your soul. Devil's Island, Alcatraz, Shawshank Parchment Farm. Places no sane person wants to stay. But your penitentiary is all within your head, you see. Break out now and make your getaway. You get away. Free your mind, the rest will follow. Break those chains, come out of the hole. Escape these walls within which you wallow. Break down your Bastille gates, release your soul. Break down your Bastille gates, release your soul. Free your mind, release your soul. Free your mind, release your soul.
do a little house cleaning here for a minute. Alrighty, it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for this morning. So please put your hands together for Reverend Kate.
Well, I promised myself I would be all hooked up and do it while Joe was singing and get my microphone on, but I was so enthralled by your song. It's great, and it reminded me of my husband's parents who always celebrated Bastille Day with that song, so it was really great, and that's exactly what we're about here, is freeing our minds from our outward circumstances. So, good morning, everyone. It's so nice to actually be here in our center in Carlsbad again, and I know that a lot of people, maybe who were even here last week, are home watching us on Facebook. So, special hello to all of you, too. We're still connected, whether we're in this room or not. And to you at home, last week we got some feedback that the sound wasn't clear enough, so please let us know if you can hear well or not, and just let us know you're out there, because we love you. We want to feel connected. So I think, it might be that on Sunday mornings there's kind of a traffic jam on Facebook, and we don't like traffic jams. I know this morning coming here it was smooth sailing, no traffic at all. But just on Friday when I was driving through Carlsbad, there was an amazingly heavy traffic jam on Interstate 5. And so I was like, oh, wow, look at all the people. And luckily I wasn't in a hurry, and I just got off and took the scenic road. But the fact is that people are naturally goers. People are naturally doers. We like to get going, even if that means we're just going online. We want to go places, we want to do things. It is our nature. And so this month, our theme has been Pulled by Vision. And in New Thought, we're always talking about how it is that our life experiences and our overall sense of happiness depend mainly on our thoughts. And we are all wonderful thinkers, not just doers and goers, right? Each and every one of us is capable of great thoughts. We can dream up wonderful thoughts of love, creativity, friendship, amazing solutions of all kinds. But we can also dream up some pretty big problematic thoughts too, right? Thoughts that even seem to create obstacles to our ability to think those happy, great thoughts. And our thoughts really matter. In fact, we teach and know that it's our general thoughts that precede or set a direction for our general experiences, creating the tendencies in our lives. And we know that our specific thoughts can bring about specific experiences in our lives. We actually take literally the example of Jesus saying to the centurion who had asked for healing for his servant, "Go, and as you have believed, so it is done." And it was done. Our beliefs do create our experiences. So, what should we do when we start thinking about problems or experiencing problems? Dr. Barbara Leger, who started a new thought center in Ukraine, despite all odds, because they're not very pro-religion there, but she calls these obstacles that we maybe think up for ourselves or experience, you know, because we're very interconnected, right? So together we create these. She calls them stumbling stones. And she says that these stumbling stones are there to make us stop and look harder to find the stepping stones and get back on our true path. I love the way she put it and wanted to share it with you so that when you find your life is full of stumbling stones, you can just think of them as nothing more than reminders to start looking for your own stepping stones. Don't get so involved with what's wrong. Just start looking for what's right. So, what is right for you? What is next for you? A month ago, I decided I would call today's talk Outward Bound because it's about the what's next. And I was sure that here in San Diego County, we would be experiencing an opening up of normal living and moving beyond the restrictions imposed by the pandemic. Of course, those of you who are here this week in person are aware that today we asked everyone in the audience to wear masks, even if they are vaccinated. Not part of what I imagine would be happening today, but so what? We just respond and move on. Truthfully, Reverend Ron and I are trained to teach people spiritual practices, like how to use prayer. We're not trained to give medical advice, although we personally have chosen to be vaccinated. And now I'm just speaking for myself when I say that for me, my decision to be vaccinated was as straightforward and as non-controversial as my decision to change the oil in my car's engine or my decision to buckle my seatbelt. Not a big deal. Because my personal what's next includes getting going again. I've got things to do. I've got places to go and people to see, and of course I want to do it all safely. Another part of my own what's next is to learn more about this thing called life or spirit, to become a better minister and teacher. Another part of my what's next is to live more healthfully. It turns out I was one of the people who snacked through the pandemic. So I'm just, you know, my what's next doesn't necessarily matter to you. I'm just trying to give you some ideas as you're thinking about your own what's next. What are the things you might be interested in? And from that, pull out a few things that you would like to follow through on. But I'm guessing that whatever your choices have been or are, some stumble stones are popping up for you, just like they do for me. Now, if you stop and think about it, if you took a while and thought about these so-called obstacles, don't you find that the obstacles you face today are generally or often the result of things from the past? Not necessarily your personal past, but sometimes our society's past, sometimes our family's past, but usually things that have come into our experience from the past. Some people call it karma, but it's just the fact that there are always consequences. So wouldn't you like to know a way to avoid those unwanted consequences and start living the life you want today? Because we know that karma is not something you're locked into. It's just a train of consequences. You can make new choices and move from a life filled with problems to that life filled with joy, health, prosperity, creativity, beauty, wisdom, love, friendship, all the good which life actually does hold for us. And I know that in this audience, Several of you have already implemented these ideas and are already living wonderful lives, lives that are getting better and better. So in a certain respect, I know I'm preaching to the choir, right? But we need to keep sharing how to do it. We need to shout it from the rooftops, this truth that we can change our thinking and change our life. So what can a person do to get past the stumbling stones and find their own personal stepping stones and get back on the path where each of us belongs? I believe that the easiest place to start, the easiest place to kind of get your footing back is with gratitude. That's the perfect start. 800 years ago, Meister Eckhart, the mystic, said, if a man had no more to do with God than to be thankful, that would suffice. It's still true today. Gratitude gets us in touch with the good. And when your thoughts become focused on the good, instead of being scattered about on the everyday what's happening, how could this be, or your everyday feelings and instinctive reactions, when your thoughts become focused on the good, it's as if a calm window to see through more clearly emerges for you. It allows you to see more clearly the next stepping stone. And sometimes, perhaps, it allows you to get a glimpse of that amazing, beautiful truth that there is good for you and you ought to have it. It's true. When I first heard that sentence, there's good for you and you ought to have it, I was actually shocked, because why would I deserve good when the world is so full of suffering? What's so special about me? But now I understand it's true for all of us. There is good for us, and we ought to have it. Life is not a zero-sum game. My good doesn't subtract from your good any more than my being happy would take away some portion of your ability to be happy. Happiness, or any type of good, really does begin with our thoughts. And when we are stayed on spirit, as Reverend Ron put it last week, when we are aware of the possibility of good, the reality of good, then we are ready for our what's next. So, that sounds good, right? But the question is, how? If you have a dream or desire, or if you are beginning to feel that you might have a dream or desire, a vision of something or other that's emerging from your innermost self, your centered in gratitude self, then how can you get going? Get it in gear. Start something. Get the show on the road. Well, we have a slogan: treat and move your feet. The spiritual mind treatment is a very specific type of affirmative prayer. And it's a very effective spiritual practice that we actually can use to change our thoughts or strengthen our thoughts in a very deep and profound way. You can do it for yourself, or you can ask a practitioner or minister to do a treatment or affirmative prayer for you. It's okay to ask for help. I do it often. Yet, at the same time, doing a treatment for yourself is surprisingly easy, and I'm actually going to explain how to do it right now. You know, some of you already know, but we can all use a refresher, and I find that the more I do treatments, the more I learn about doing treatments. Like any practice, the more we try, the easier it becomes. So I have made up a simple worksheet. You've got it in your program for today. We've got some more on the back table, and if you're watching us on Facebook or online and you'd like a copy, it's just a simple worksheet, and all you have to do is email us or give us a call, and we'll be happy to send one to you. But you can follow along without the piece of paper, trust me. So the thing about spiritual mind treatment is we're working in the now. So we always do our prayers in the present tense. I choose this now, not someday. And the first thing to be clear on is, what is the purpose of your treatment? And that's one of the things that we have been talking about all month, is getting clear on your inner vision, your dream, knowing what it is you would actually like to experience. So if you were thinking you'd like a new job, for instance, and the purpose of your treatment would simply be, I have a wonderful new job. Then there's 5 steps. The first step is simply recognition of the truth that God is all there is. All there is. The second step is simply to know, we call it unification, to understand that if God is all there is, if we live in this spiritual milieu, then each of us, you, I, are actually part of spirit, right? We're connected. We're one with the one, part of the all. And since this is true, then obviously we can say our prayer or treatment and understand that we are already connected to spirit. The third step goes back to our purpose. It's a little bit of an elaboration of our purpose. You declare your desire. So you would declare, I declare on behalf of myself that I have the perfect job right now. Then you might perhaps list some of the qualities of this job, not necessarily exactly where it is, but what it's like. It's rewarding. I am well paid. I am valued. I have a wonderful circumstance. I have fellow employees that I get along with well, or perhaps I'm a contractor and I have one employer that I get along with well. You put these into this step 3 of thinking about and declaring and visualizing what it is you want, and realizing the truth that since spirit is infinite, this one thing that you want is possible, it exists, and it's for you. That's the realization part. I realize there is a perfect job for me, that it already exists. I've declared it, and I've realized it. Once you've formed this idea, spoken it, or just written it down, then you move to step 4. Step 4 is super easy. Oh, I am grateful for this good, because I have it. If I don't have it physically, I have it in mind, and it's now unfolding, right? Everything isn't always instantaneous. Some things are instantaneous. If I do a treatment to be relieved of a sense of depression, I may find instantaneous results. If I do a treatment to get a job, well, it might take a little while before I get that phone call or email saying, here you go. Step 5, super easy. My treatment's done. I turn this over to spirit. I don't have to worry about it. It's done. So that's the 5 steps of treatment. Now today, because I know some of you are very advanced, on the bottom of the handout I put the words follow through, right? Because I wanted to talk about follow through that you might want to do. It doesn't mean that there's anything you have to do to convince Spirit to answer your prayer, because Spirit's always saying yes. But life is something like a mirror. Your prayer is answered when you form it in your mind. Your thoughts do outpicture. You might find there are some practical stepping stones you need to follow, like maybe you need to write a resume, maybe you need to call someone. If you're doing a treatment or affirmative prayer for a trip, maybe you have to buy your ticket, right? These things become apparent as the treatment unfolds into manifestation. So when I'm talking about follow through, that's about your own thinking. It's because sometimes, especially if the result of our treatment isn't instantaneous, our thoughts can wander, right? A little doubt creeps into our mind, right? Those stumbling stones start popping up again. And then it's as if we were tossing a no thanks stumbling stone that's blocking or stopping our treatment, or accidentally negating our treatment, maybe not in as focused a way, but we don't want to do that. We want to know that it's done, it's fine. So, there are a couple of things you can do to help keep your mind stayed on Spirit, you might say. To keep your unconscious thoughts in harmony with this direction that you have chosen consciously. So the first thing is you can follow through on your treatment with affirmations. Take a look at your purpose and take a look at what you wrote down in step 3 if it was written, or what you know you want as you laid out in this declaration, realization step. And then create your very own affirmation. And I know everyone in here has used affirmations, you've seen them on email, you've read them in books. Make your own specific affirmation in line with your specific purpose. I have a new job now. That could be your affirmation. Everything is working perfectly and my trip is unfolding now. Make these custom affirmations to match your specific desire. Now, the second suggestion I have is to use visualization, right? So if you do have the page, it says, expectant, focused, I begin living it now. In AA and 12-step groups, it's called fake it until you make it. We like to call it a visualization. So last week I attended an online lecture given by a historian of New Thought who was talking about Neville Goddard, who was a very popular New Thought lecturer in the 1950s and 60s. I found it interesting, and I thought one of the things he mentioned that Neville taught was about using our imagination in a very definite way as a follow-up to our treatment or prayer or declarations. So, dreams can come true is a common saying, right? I mean, you always kind of hear that, and it's kind of like dreams might come true. But Neville took it very seriously, and he taught that if you use visualization techniques while you are in a semi-dream state, so that would be when you're falling asleep at night, right? You're a little bit in that in-between state. When you're waking up in the morning, if you're kind of a drowsy waker-upper, or possibly after you do your meditation. When you finish your meditation, if you just take a few minutes and sit calmly or even lie down, you'll be in that same kind of semi-dream state. Anyway, Neville taught that people should clearly visualize having what it is they desire while they're in this semi-dream state. Now, they don't have to visualize the whole exact experience. That's very time-consuming and difficult, and plus then you're laying out exactly how it's going to happen instead of allowing Spirit to define the pathway for you, to lead you through the manifestation process. What he said was, just visualize some little part of it. So another minister friend of mine, I was talking to her about this just yesterday, and she said, oh yes, she had read the story about a young girl who wanted to get in the Guinness Book of Records, and what she did was cross out the name of the existing winner. She whited it out, wrote her name in, right in the book of the, Guinness World Book of Records, and that was part of her visualization. But some of the other suggestions you might do is, Neville suggested, for instance, if a person wants to be married, instead of trying to visualize the new person and the wedding and everything that would be involved or how they would meet, simply visualize having a wedding ring on. This something simple, something that would absolutely be a result, a physical result of having what it was you desired, your big desire, come to pass. Or a person who, and this is my suggestion, for myself really, a person who wanted to lose weight could simply visualize stepping on a scale, looking down, seeing their desired weight. That's all. Instead of always thinking about, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And the visualization part is helping us keep our acceptance of our good happening. A person who wanted to have a new job could simply visualize being in their car, happily on their way to work. A person who wanted more friends could simply visualize being on the phone with a friend. The phone ringing and it's a friend there. So I believe that this use of visualizations can be a great addition to using written and spoken affirmations. So I am a words person, right? So I like to read, I like to write, I like to speak, but I know a lot of people who are really more nonverbal, who are what I'd call picture people. I know it because when they describe what's happening, it's usually very visual, or I've had the experience of going in the store with a visual person and they just find all kinds of treasures, and I'm like, I don't know where anything is, So we all have our capabilities. If you're a visual person, I really, really suggest that you add this into your repertoire along with normal affirmations. And let us know what happens. I would love to get some feedback on this. The thing is, I want to be sure that you know that prayer, any sincere prayer, whether it's a treatment or any type of prayer you may have learned or practiced, is actually beneficial to all. We're united in this life. We're all connected through the medium of spirit. Every 5-step prayer treatment that is in accord with life and in accord with the natural laws of life is actually a powerful expression of good, and it does go out into the world. There is good for all of us, and we all ought to have it. And my little bit of harmonious thinking, my little bit of good, doesn't just clear up my life. Your good doesn't just help your life, but it also clears up a little bit of this allness that we experience as life in our world. We are connected. That universal creative force that we call God or Spirit is perfect. It is infinite, limitless, and loving. It's also orderly. It has an essential harmony. It responds to us and to our thinking. We experience life as unfolding according to natural laws. And while we don't understand everything about what's going on in life, we can still see that if we want to live in harmony with life, we need to focus on what is good, on what is life-affirming. And as we do this, our path becomes easier and easier. We leave behind the stumbling stones, or at least shrink them down to pebbles, right? And we follow the stepping stones to our good. So I really, really want you, if I could want anything for you, I want you to give yourself permission to go ahead and try using gratitude, prayer treatment, affirmations, and positive visualizations today, this week. In fact, what I'd like to do right now is just invite you, if you want to close your eyes for just a moment. Picture yourself at home or in a nice place, sitting in a comfortable chair, writing down your specific desire, allowing yourself to write down or speak the 5 steps of treatment, knowing Spirit is all there is, knowing that you are reunited with Spirit, knowing that your desired good already exists in the field of infinite possibility and you're claiming it for yourself. Then picture yourself feeling grateful, knowing it is set in motion, and letting it go in faith. And then picture yourself reading the treatment aloud, writing a helpful affirmation, and then picture yourself later on, maybe when you're falling asleep, visualizing that some small result of the good you desire is clear in your mind, simply, easily, clearly visualized. So now, take a breath, open your eyes, know the truth with me that yes, we really can change our thinking. Yes, we really can change our lives. Try it this week. See it for yourself. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of our community here, there, and everywhere today. So, now are we... Oh, you're going to clap for me. Yeah, clap for me. Thank you so much. And now I just had to stop talking for a minute, and I want to introduce Joe Rathburn again for one of his. I know it'll be good, whatever it is. So I'll turn off my microphone and he'll get his on.
You deserve that applause. Had to have it. Once upon a dream, I built a boat, but I had to teach her how to float. Once she learned real well. She had a sail, she had a bell. So I rang the bell, raised her sail. I took her out in full force gale. Then she sank, so I had to swim. I swam into a fish named Jim. Jim said, Joe, you're mighty brave, but I think you ought to catch that wave. So I caught a wave, surfed ashore to a place I'd never been before, where the trees were purple, the grass was blue, the sky was bright, and the folks was too. They took me in, they made me king, a crown, a throne, and everything. They said, oh sire, what's your desire? I said, let me sit here by your fire so I can warm my toes and contemplate just what it is that makes life great. When I was through, I said, okay, what can I do to make your day? They said, oh king, we must concede that we've got everything we need. And we've just learned to spread it round, so peace and love and joy abound. I said, what a concept. I must roam so I can tell all the folks back home. Sprouted wings and I flew away. Just got back the other day, and I told everybody I knew about the purple trees and the grass of blue and the happy bright folk that I had found. They said, man, all this time we thought you'd drown, but now we know you're just insane. Anyone with half a brain knows that peace and love and joy, just ideas. Fear and war, that's the way it is. It's always been, and it always will. I said, well, in your dream, it's that way still. But in mine, I'm building me a boat. And once I've taught her how to float, I think I'll ring her bell and raise her sail and take her out in another gale. Maybe I'll get lucky twice and wind up back in paradise. Well, I know that sounds like fantasy, but that's just where I want to be. Maybe it's all in my mind, but someday soon I know I'll find it everywhere I journey to, and I know I'll wind up there with you. Yes, I know, I really do. I know I'll wind up there with you. Once upon a tree, once upon a tree. Yes,
Yeah, storyteller.
yes, that is one of my songs.
It was fabulous. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Joe wrote that. But the people at home know that too. It was great. Whatever floats your boat, right?
Exactly.
What are we doing now? Oh, now we're doing conscious giving. I've gotten rusty through the pandemic, but what I'd like to do first is an affirmation or treatment for prosperity for all of us, for our center, and for our wider audience of people online. So just know with me the truth, that there is something wonderful and infinite spiritual life, universal creative energy, which is all I can imagine and more. Infinity and beyond, if there could be such a thing, and that each of us is a center in the infinite, because the infinite has no boundaries. Knowing this, I claim, with joy in my heart, I claim good in the form of financial abundance and prosperity for each and every person here today, for each and every person listening in, online, and for the center itself. I understand and I declare that each of us is connected to spirit, and that spirit flows through us, as us, exists for us. There is a beautiful divine circulation going on, and this circulation includes abundance in all its forms, including financial abundance, as well as the magnificent people who are involved in this center. I know there is enough for each of us. There is enough for all of us. There is enough for the center, and I give thanks for the prosperity that is already ours. Feeling so grateful for the good that is ours now, and the good that is ours to share, the good that is coming to each of us right here and now. I say, thank you, Spirit. And I let go. I turn this over to Spirit itself, knowing it is already done and all is well. And I invite you to speak with me the words, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So if you are watching us online and you would like to make a donation, you can just go to our website, www.cslcarlsbad.org, and we do have a donation button there that lets you make electronic donations. So as we're closing, what I'd like to do for those of you here, if you have your program, we continue the tradition of our group reading, even though I know you're in masks. Let's just read it together. I know not everyone has it, but I bet you have it memorized, don't you? Yeah. So Please repeat this with me. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. Thank you. We know this. That's who we are. So to close out, I'll do a closing treatment. And I invite you to just hold in your mind anything that you particularly would like to see in your life, or any person that you know of who, I know I've already talked to one person who has a friend in the hospital, anyone that you're thinking of who needs our loving prayers. And then after that, we'll be done. Joe will play us a little music, and I can't thank you enough for coming, being with us. So I invite you, just close your eyes again, because it makes it a little easier for most of us to focus. You don't have to, but I like to do it. Take a breath or two. Just feel settled in, get comfortable, and recognize the truth that there is one mind. That mind is God's mind. That mind is my mind now. That mind is our minds now. We live and have our being in spirit, and spirit lives through us, as us, and for us. And since this is so, I know that each of us is God's perfect child. We are the beloved. We are spiritual beings having a human experience right here, right now. And it is a glorious day. I know that whatever seems to be going on, behind it there is an essential truth. And that essential truth is that we are surrounded and supported by love, and that there is enough for us all, and that each of us in our essence is already perfect, whole, complete, healthy, wise, positive, filled with love, and filled with loving kindness. That each of us is already essentially and truly in this reality that I call reality with a capital R, the real reality, the spiritual reality. Each of us is surrounded by good, and whatever we need in what I call reality with a little r, our everyday life, is at hand. There is enough for each of us. Everything we need and desire comes to us now. I know that it is as certain as if I were planting a tomato seed in the soil. The soil gives forth a tomato plant. I know that our thoughts of perfect health, abundant prosperity, peace, creativity, and wisdom are planted right now into the soil of mind, and they shall bear fruit. In fact, on a spiritual plane, it's already done. On a physical plane, I accept the perfect right manifestation now. I have no obstacles in my mind. There are no problems. There is nothing to worry about because the truth is the truth. There is good for us. We ought to have it. And I claim it on behalf of each and every one of us right now, right here. I give thanks for all this good now unfolding for each and every one of us, for all the people that we love, for our friends, for our family, for our community, for this world itself. I give thanks to Spirit, and I let go of this treatment knowing it is already done. And so it is. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a fantastic week. And we will see you here or online next Sunday, and Saturday we do an online meditation.
What a day for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy. I'm lost in a daydream. I'm dreaming about my bundle of joy. And even if time ain't really on my side, it's one of them days for taking a walk outside. I'm blowing the day to take a walk in the sun. Fall on my face in somebody's new mode lawn. I've been having a sweet dream. I've been dreaming since I woke up today. Starring me in my sweet dreams. She's the one that makes me feel this way. And even if time is passing me by a lot, I couldn't care less about them dues you say I got. Tomorrow I'll pay the dues for dropping my load. I pine the face for being a sleepy boto. You can be sure that if you're feeling right, daydream gonna last you long into the night. Tomorrow at breakfast, you better pick up your ears, or you could be daydreaming for 1,000 years.